Hello everyone, welcome to another video. This is from Screen Crush, and I think I've mentioned Screen Crush before. They have ads everywhere. I was just reading this to get ready to do a video, and I was bombarded. I could barely read it, so I'm hopefully close down most of the ads. We'll see. I love Screen Crush, but these ads, guys, come on! Indiana Jones and the encounter with Spider-Man's creator Steve Ditko's run on Marvel's Indiana Jones comic. Now, if you know me, I actually own all the Indiana Jones comics from Marvel, and I'm showing them to you. So check out those videos. I flip through the pages as slow as I can so you can see each page. It'd be like you own them. So check those videos out. But I wanted to talk about this. This is kind of neat. Listen to this. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is the fourth Indiana Jones sequel. At least the fourth movie sequel. Dun dun dun. Cinema's most famous archaeologist has been the subject of an enormous number of projects in other media, designed to keep a story going in between big screen installments. He was the star of the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles on television. Comic book was way before that. And the hero of a series of acclaimed computer games, including Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis, which I still play to this day. Indiana Jones also stars in at least a dozen novels, which I own, and I actually show you off on my channel. You can look at that video as well. And he's been turned into several theme park rides, including Disney's Indiana Jones and the Temple of the Forbidden Eye. Since the earliest days of his development, Indiana Jones has been tied to comics. Some of the most important pieces of concept art for the character were painted by Jim Steranko, which, if I remember, I'll put up some. He did, I think, the concept art, what people thought Indiana Jones should be, and they're so good. The legendary artist behind Marvel's first Nick Fury Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. series. Later, comics then became like a second home to Indiana Jones, although some of his illustrated adventures there have already begun to slip into obscurity. Not me. It's on my channel. I'm showing you guys that. For example, few realize that Steve Ditko... What? Oh, that's what they're talking about. They're saying he was involved. I never seen his name yet. And I've been going through all the comics. So, yeah, he's a co-creator of Spider-Man. And had one of his longest, most Spidey runs at Marvel on the Indiana Jones series. I don't remember seeing his name. I keep going through the beginning of it. How weird. Unless I missed it somehow. Spider-Man co-creator Steve Ditko's run on Indiana Jones. During the 80s, Spider-Man co-creator Steve Ditko contributed artwork to Marvel's Indiana Jones comic book. What? Today, Marvel and Lucasfilm are both divisions of the same large Disney umbrella. In the early 1980s, they were distinct companies, and Lucasfilm at the time was still relatively a small operation, so Marvel licensed the rights to produce Indiana Jones comics, starting with the adaptation of Raiders of the Lost Ark in 1981. That was followed in early 1983 by the first ongoing indie comic, The Further Adventures of Indiana Jones. So check out my channel. You can see them all. Well, not all of them yet. I'm still going through them all, but there's 34 issues. So I'm going through them all, folks. The book launched with a decent amount of fanfare and a major creator at the helm, writer and artist John Byrne, who was then one of the biggest names in comics thanks to his work on Uncanny X-Men and Fantastic Four. But Byrne lasted just 2 issues before quitting the book. He later recalled, he said, one of the worst experiences I've had as a comic book professional, and blamed his premature departure on illogical demands on both Marvel editors, who wanted each story to conclude in a single issue, which Byrne felt betrayed the roots of a character based on adventure serials and cliffhangers, which I agree, and Lucasfilm executives, who would approve stories, then demand last-minute changes to things they've already signed off on. Look at that cover. Isn't that cool? See it on my channel. Closer. Despite Byrne's departure, the further adventures of Indiana Jones continued on for several more years. Yeah, 34 issues, with a variety of writers and artists. Yeah, remember, if you've been watching my videos, you know I like that Cary Gamel, or Gamel. I think it's Gamel. That might be Gamel. But yeah, he was doing... Remember how great that artwork was? Yeah, well, check my channel if you haven't watched it. Many of the issues were penned by David Michelini? I don't know. Who would later go on to create Spider-Man villain Venom with Todd McFarlane. Wow, the series was set in the mid and late 1930s. Yeah, it was literally set right at the end. A lot of them were set right after Raiders and just went from there. And after the events of Raiders of the Lost Ark, and in the addition to Indiana Jones, many of the movie's supporting characters, including Marcus Brody and Marion Ravenwood, made repeated appearances. And when it kept going through 84, so, because think about it, there was no Temple of Doom, no Last Crusade. So once they got to 84, Temple of Doom came out. Short Round was a lot of it. So people always says, oh, I wish Short Round did more adventures. He did, in the comic books. See, this is good artwork. I don't know who did that. Enter Steve Ditko. In his first run at Marvel Comics, Steve Ditko, co-creator of Spider-Man, created Doctor Strange and defined the look and tone of both series. After a falling out with the company and Stan Lee, he left for DC and other comic book publishers, but eventually returned to Marvel in the 1980s and contributed freelance work on a variety of series. Ditko's most notable work during this run at Marvel includes a stretch drawing Rom, a comic based on a popular action figure, and co-creating the character Speedball, who's gone on to a long career as a member of the New Warriors and other superhero teams. And Ditko also occasionally popped up on other books, mostly drawing one-offs, stories, and annuals. He also drew numerous issues of Further Adventures of Indiana Jones and became a fixture on the book during the later stages of the run. Maybe I'm not there yet. You know what I mean? I read these comics. I don't remember Ditko being involved. This is exciting. A comic based on a movie that was inspired by the series. As the title suggests, the stories and Further Adventures of Indiana Jones were designed to give indie fans a taste of what they've come to expect from Raiders of the Lost Ark, globe-trotting adventures with Indy and his friends as they pursue various mythological artifacts and occasionally battle supernatural threats. Some of the comic's details are now contradicted later movies. That's all right. Comic, I always think of it as just its own thing that happened right after Raiders, and In one issue, Indy tells someone he has no family because Indy's dad, played by Sean Connery, wouldn't be introduced for several more years. I remember that comic. Yes, he has no family. And all of a sudden, Sean Connery shows up. Yeah, so there's some contradictions. That's fine. The Further Adventures of Indiana Jones were usually a lot talkier than movies, and he rarely captured the breathless pace of the movie. Well, it's a comic book, folks, but that's not true too. There's some issues that felt like a movie, but they were at least designed in their spirit. And Ditko's issues include some fun, ready for the big screen sequences, like this one where Indy must jump from one plane to another midair. I don't see him. Oh, this one. So it must be up here. I must say, there's better. I mean, I don't know who wrote this article. Do you actually have the comics? I might be mean. I'm just saying, I read the comics many a times, and there's some really big, way better than that. There's some screen scenes where he jumped out of an airplane, and all he had was a blanket. Yeah. And everybody thought Temple of Doom was far-fetched. Good gravy. The old Ditko returns. Steve Ditko illustrated 8 issues. So I don't think I've seen him yet. Of the Further Adventures of Indiana Jones. And most of those comics are efficient and clear. Right? But not exactly groundbreaking in the way Ditko's 1960s comics. Still, you do get occasional flashes of Ditko unique style. Alright, so he did 21. Okay. I'm not on 21 yet. I'm looking when I'm recording this. Yeah. So there you go. We're gonna. By the time, heck, you could be watching this a year later, and I probably have all the Indiana Jones comics out. You can see it. So issue 21, you can see Ditko at work. Yeah, see that? That's good. That's filmatic. See, he's got to grab that. Yeah. Yeah. Again, a lot of Ditko's Further Adventures in Indiana Jones artwork is just serviceable. At times, you might not even... I've read these comics many times. I don't remember Steve Ditko, but I never... When I'm going through them with you guys, I'm finally looking at who did the artwork, the inking, the penciling, and all that stuff like that. When I was younger, I was just reading, so I really didn't pay attention. But, yeah, I don't like this two-headed thing where he's like, oh, look, that's just... If that's Steve Ditko... That looks good. Well, you get the gist. After a series of fill-in issues, the title page of Further Adventures of Indiana Jones number 34. That's the last one, folks. Proudly introduced Ditko and inker. Wow, so he did the last one. Oh, wow. So the salary was not to be. There was no more 35. It wasn't 35. Indiana Jones fans have talked for years about trying to track down the unpublished 35th issue. I didn't know there was one. So it's unpublished, but they had it finished. While there are hints a story was already in production prior to the book's cancellation, if any pages were illustrated for by Ditko, they have never been published. Okay. If any, they remain another dusty artifact, lost to history, like the Ark of the Covenant or the Holy Grail. That was a good article. I skipped over some of the stuff, that's just how I am. But, we got a Screen Crush. You can read the whole thing if you wanted to a couple times. But that was fun. Like I said, on my channel, I'm doing all the Indiana Jones movies. So, in movies, comic books, and you can check them out. So, wow, that was fun. All right, everybody, have a great day. Check back with me again. Check my channel out. There's tons of videos. Have fun. All right, everybody, bye-bye.